This episode is sponsored by Care.com. To save 30% off a Care.com premium membership, visit Care.com/braincandy when you subscribe.
Susie. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
What are you doing?
Are you melting?
Oh, my God.
It's so hot in Cali.
It's hot, but that's all right.
But you're cool.
I am cool, and it's 2:48. Somebody wrote on our Brain Candy Crush that they were mad that I banned the rhyming.
Right, because don't think I don't do it in my head every time you say that. So I'm doing it too, people. It's still happening.
The girl said, or the woman said, that was her favorite part of the show. And I'm like, if that was your favorite part of the show, we have bigger problems.
Maybe get a Dr. Seuss book. That might satisfy the craving for some rhymes.
But I think that people like your whimsy.
Thank you.
And
except Susie.
No,
I'm
liked
kidding.
it
I'm kidding.
for, what was it,
well,
200 episodes?
Only so many words rhyme with 8
exactly.
and 7 and 5. So
that's why, like, when you're graduating senior and you come up with, like, one of those phrases, did you have those at your school where it was like,
no, because I was never a senior.
1997. Oh, okay. Well, I graduated in 97, and it was like 1997, going to something about heaven, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And they probably did that in 87 and 77.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
Welcome to this show, everybody. Though, happy to be here.
Me too.
And
always, you make me feel better about everything all the time. Oh my God,
that's so weird because you know how I'm like the curmudgeon.
I don't.
You don't mind?
No, it's like
it's nice.
You're not curmudgeon-y to me.
That's true. I mean, everything you say cracks me up.
You're my biggest cheerleader.
That's for sure. That is for sure. And I didn't like when you were away. It was too long.
Oh yeah,
and
I agree.
Too far.
I decided I don't even think I like vacations. Like, I really don't. Like,
I did too. I came to this conclusion
I was
myself.
like, you know what I like? My house.
Being comfortable.
And I like not being somewhere that's not my bed. And then I just don't like how it's like, I mean, this pillow isn't the right pillow. And then I noticed that the older I get, I was thinking about this. This is like total, you're just getting stream of consciousness at this point.
Fine.
When we were in Italy, oh my God, one thing I didn't tell you about, they lost our fucking luggage. Sorry,
I did see that on Landon's Insta.
Like, they were like, we were getting on a boat the next day at noon, and they're like,
sorry.
So when do you come back from your boat trip to pick up your luggage? And so in a panic, we went out and went to H&M and just random stores and like bought enough to just survive, like bathing suits, some, stuff. I needed underwear, so I bought underwear from H&M, a cheap packet of underwear, 3 for $9, whatever. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. The tag alone was so itchy. I could not think about anything other than my uncomfortable underwear the whole day that I was wearing them. And then I thought about there was a long time in my life where I put beauty and like look and lacy like frilliness and uncomfortable underwear that I bought from Forever 21 over my comfort. For a long time. Like I was wearing, I don't even know if anybody was seeing them, but underneath I was wearing like, lacy. There's not a single part of me that wants to put on a pair of those underwear again, where I was like, I would sit with my crotch all uncomfortable all day long, and itchy, lacy, whatever. I'm like, okay, I understand why people move towards the granny panties, because it's like my tolerance for things that make me uncomfortable is so low the older I get.
I totally get that. Luckily, though, you can get comfortable and beautiful underwear.
Where?
Third Love, you know this.
Oh my God, I have their bras.
I know.
I need their underwear.
I told you.
Dude.
I remember
I'm
I said
sick of it.
I got the panties and the robe,
and
too.
they're cute, too. Because I
Very
have a
cute.
comfortable bra now that also looks sexy.
Exactly.
I caught my underwear in the mirror and I was like, we
right.
need a new pair.
That's the thing, is that you can be comfortable and look fantastic.
Please
Poor Sarah. She thinks she has to go to like...
Yeah, well, it's not with the H&M undies.
Third Love has the perfect fit for whatever bra size you wear. They have half sizes. They have the most size bras of any company. They just added 24 new sizes.
What?
The industry leader. They have a total of 70 sizes.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And they have a Fit Finder quiz. You just take it real quick, few questions, and they can figure out your size. And it's really fun because you're probably wearing the wrong size.
You are.
And like I said, I am wearing them right now. I should show you.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
These ones are nude.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Oh, that's what I want.
But they're still
that's
like
nice.
pretty. Yeah.
Oh, it's a good material. See, that doesn't look. Yep.
Yeah.
I want that. Okay.
Third Love knows
those are sexy.
Perfect bra or undies for everyone. So right now they're offering our listeners 15% off your first order. Go to thirdlove.com/brain now to find perfect fitting bra and get 15% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/brain for 15% off today. And that's the only bra that I wear now. But I didn't mean to hijack your story about your undies. But so what happened with your
my luggage.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we go to in Italy, they're notorious for losing luggage. Because,
are they?
For real. Like, we knew as a family, whenever we would take trips, my mom's like, luggage is going to be lost. So pack an extra.
Yeah.
And without fail, every time we went to Italy, a bag would get lost. And when it's like, they're like Italians.
Are you a smart traveler? Like, do you put it in your carry-ons?
Most of the time.
Uh-oh.
This was the first time in my whole life that I did not do that.
Sarah.
First time, Suze. I never, ever not done that.
What happened? You just were hoping for the best?
I was trusting because we were flying first class.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's no way that those bags, they got the priority stickers.
They throw those all in one bin,
they
baby.
don't give a shit.
No,
So.
there's not like a first class luggage
They're
area.
like, whatevs. We just aren't looking as hard through these for drugs. That's maybe the only perk to having a priority tag.
Right.
Even though they should be checking those bags more.
Yeah,
For real.
Sarah and her vape pen or whatever.
For goodness sakes.
Do you travel internationally with that thing?
I did. And I
As a matter of
land
fact.
and put it in his bag because I was too nervous. Because he's like, this doesn't matter.
What's
Who cares?
that movie from a while ago with Claire Danes?
Yeah. Like
Palace.
Broke Down Palace. Well, I'm not going to Thailand with it. I'm making sure to do it going to a country where it's also legal. So it's like,
Is it?
Like
I don't
Switzerland
know.
It was, or Zurich it is. Like, but I don't know, whatever.
Oh my God, don't brush it off. This is important information. I love that you made him put it in his bag. Like, you're like, oh, what? It's fine, but put it in your bag.
Yeah. Because I was like, I can't run any risks. I have my job to think about. You are in the booze business. People expect that from you.
Did he care? Or what?
No,
Whatever.
he doesn't care because he was like, this is not a big deal. And they're not looking for that. And nobody
Do you
cares
put,
about
like,
your little. And it doesn't even look, it's like not even, it's like so low dose. It's not even like a. It's not like I'm like taking a. It's like no. It's like here's
I
a
like
gummy.
when you don't want to talk about it. You're like whatever. But you got your bag, right?
Before
the boat.
But how we had to get it. So we like are in a panic and like looking for clothes and everything. And like Landon wants me to find a bathing suit for the trip. I have like 1 hour to shop. As a woman,
Yeah, that's tough.
you all, everyone out there knows that to find the summer bathing suit is a 4-month process that starts in
Absolutely.
January. And I've now tried on and bought every single one and returned 7 and to find the perfect bathing suit. And you want me to find one in an hour?
That's insane.
And then he was upset because I not upset, but frustrated because I went to 4 different shops and couldn't find one yet. He's like, just buy. I feel like you're setting the bar too high. Just find anything.
They should make a movie about that and call it Mission Impossible.
I'm like, dude, you're asking me to do one of the most stressful things that a woman can possibly do.
Yeah.
And do it all in a matter. And now I'm going to be on a yacht in the Amalfi Coast with my
gross,
ill-fitting,
ill-fitting.
the bathing, and I don't have a body that I feel like is easy to fit. When you're big on the bottom and small on top, they don't really make stuff like that. And everything's like European sizes where I'm like, forget it. And also, one pieces are not popular in Italy. It's all the 2 pieces because they go topless.
I was going to say, can you do topless?
And you could, but I wasn't going to go topless on a boat with my husband's boss.
Did his wife?
No, nobody on the boat did.
Okay.
And so I'm rushing to get all these clothes. It's awful. And finally we're just we get enough. We go back to the hotel room. And the next day, Landon's on the phone. We flew with, the main airline hub was not, we flew with one of their smaller airlines that, it's like Lufthansa, but it's through Air Canada or whatever.
Yeah.
And none of those people had service desks. There's one desk with one man who's doesn't care at all, who's smoking a cigarette the whole time, and their filing system is everything's done on paper, written down, and just a stack of papers.
See,
for real. It's like that. You're like, okay.
Remember I think it was you and me when we were in
Brazil. We're like, this is why you'll never be a superpower. Yeah, this is exactly it. Oh, they're struggling economy? Shocker.
They're fine with it, though.
They're totally fine with it, which is like and there's something about, like, if it's we call it island time if you're anywhere tropical, because throw a pina colada in my hand and I don't care. It's like, not that bad, I'll wait. But in Italy, Italian time, which is like a real thing,
what
really gets under your skin, because there's it's like, oh my God. Italians are just like, whatever. We don't
really.
Yeah, it's more like the spirit of the law than the letter of the law, but too much.
Right.
And so this guy didn't give any craps. And so he was like, oh, I'll just take down your info and, like, we'll call you when it arrives or whatever. Landon was on the phone. They gave us, like, a tracking number. He's, like, tracing it, blah, blah, blah. We go to the airport or the hotel, and the hotel's like, yeah, you're probably not going to see that bag for a while.
Really?
So I bet your best bet is to go to the airport and look through, say, I need to look through your luggage room.
Shut up.
That morning, before we got on the boat, we woke up early, took a taxi to the airport, and we went through the luggage room.
How
and that
much
is the
stuff
only
was in
way.
there?
I didn't go in, because then they were like, all this security stuff that, Landon got to go in, but I didn't. All this, it was blah, blah, blah. Because I went to get a coffee because I was waiting for so long and missed the.
Oh my God.
So he was handling it and everything. But as we were at the airport searching through these bags, I was talking to another woman who had not had her luggage for 14 days. The entire time she was on the trip. And it's like, they still don't, it's like lost somewhere.
That's not acceptable.
And it's like, forget it. So, like, we could have been that had we not gone and actually got our luggage. Thank God we did, because I packed perfect for the trip.
Yeah.
And, I, like, got a bunch of cute stuff. I had my sun hat. I had my cute little round bag that was, like, perfect. I'm like, oh, my God, all my outfits, my bathing suits that fit.
Yes.
Gone. I mean, thank God I got everything. So it was
Did you go to any beaches, or was it like...
Well, you know what? No, we didn't, because it's not really beach. It's not like you can go to the beach there. And you don't want to go to the beaches there. They pack so many people into one small space because they don't really have a big coastline. So what the hotels do is they have a beach club. So the hotel will have a beach club that'll be like little section of the place that's reserved with a bunch of different color umbrellas. It's all separated by different colors, so you can see which hotel is like with the certain color. That's why you have like collection of red, collection of blue, because it'll be the different hotels, but that's the section of the beach, quote
Got
unquote.
it, yeah.
It is just like a freeway bumper to bumper with towels. And that's one of the luxuries of being on a boat, is that you just jump right off the boat and you're in the water there. And one of our best days, there's this cool grotto in Italy, this like cavern called the Blue Grotto, and it's got a big hole in the bottom so that it just glows with blue light and the whole thing fills up. And we went really early at 7 a.m, and our little dinghy like drives us over there, and we hop out and we swim through the grotto. We're like taking pictures underwater. We're looking at the caves. It's super creepy because it's like a cave and you have to go through this little teeny tiny hole, and we have so much fun swimming. Well, then we leave, and there are a bunch of Italian men who are like yelling at us. We're like, you have to pay, you have to pay, you have to pay. And we're like, fuck off, we don't have to pay. You're like, you don't own the grotto. And they don't. They were just like, that's what they do, is they bring tours.
No.
Well, then we found out that you're not allowed to swim there. And it's only accessible by little rowboat, and like you row in on a little rowboat.
There?
And I got to swim there, and it was
How
awesome.
did you not get in trouble?
Because what are they going to do? No, there's nobody's going to get us in trouble. It's not like you're not allowed to swim there. That's not how they have it set up. They have it set up so you pay. You like start on the dock. You pay $15. You go in the little rowboat.
That's a loophole.
That's what I said. And the owner, they kept on coming after us, like, no, you owe us $30 per however many per person.
I would have paid. That's how stupid I am.
All
right.
The Landon's boss, who was like, the chartering the boat, was like, okay, come and let them come on your little rowboat and try to chase us down and come collect the money from me.
Wow,
what are you going to do?
Tough guy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not giving you a dime. Like, you don't own the coast. You don't own the grotto. This is like, no.
Wow.
And he's totally right. And so the fact that I got to go into the Blue Grotto in Italy and swim through it is like super exciting to me.
That's cool.
So that was like one of my favorite water. And the water is like a bathtub. And it's super salty, so you can just float.
Yeah.
It's great. But it does horrible things to your hair.
Well, I mean, you didn't have the beach, but you did have your beach body.
Dude, I have been committed. Do I look fitter to you?
I was going to say, you're busting your butt.
Yeah, I'm really busting my butt. Every day, committed.
I love that. Because for a minute you were like not feeling.
I know, but I just had to get back on the train, and now I'm like, oh my God, I remember how good workout endorphins feel.
Yeah.
Now I'm like addicted.
It is one of those things though where you like objects in motion kind of thing.
Totally.
But once you get started, then all full throttle.
Tell them how to hop on that train.
Beachbody On Demand. It's basically like the Netflix for workout videos. They have everything from like P90X and Insanity to the stuff I like, which is, minimum impact, yoga retreat, and things like that. And they have pretty much for every level, and then they have workouts as short as 10 minutes, which are the ones I do, that don't require equipment or anything. You just do the stuff they tell you, and you get fit, and you can do it in your hotel room or at home or wherever you are. I really want you to try this service because I don't want to do it alone. And luckily,
everybody's
Sarah's
been talking
doing
about
it.
how good you look in your bathing
you.
suit. So
I've been working hard, and I just feel stronger. Right now, our listeners can join me and get a special free trial membership when you text Brain Candy to 303030. You'll get full access to the entire platform for free, all the workouts, nutrition information, and support totally free. Again, just text Brain Candy to 303030. You do look great, and all I care about is, if you're feeling great.
And you know what? Can you believe this one? Our Brain Candy Brainiacs are going to be shocked.
What?
I have not had a single sip of wine since Italy.
What?
I know.
Why?
I don't know. I've just been like, I'm working out all the time. I'm just like keeping it clean. And I thought after Italy, after doing like going full throttle with the wine and the pizza, I was like, maybe I need a little, some good clean living for a week.
And do you feel different or no?
I feel great right now.
Are you going to be breaking that today for our Q&A?
100%, because it's Friday. I said a week.
100%. Well, I didn't know because I was. There are these moments where I'm like, I should do an experiment because I want to see like if I sleep, whatever, different things like that. But then it's whenever you have your relaxed time, you have like a routine.
Yeah.
That
well, I noticed the thing that has made the most impact is not whether I drink wine or don't drink wine, whatever. It's hydration.
Oh.
It's just making sure that I'm drinking a lot of water and staying hydrated.
Yeah.
And I think that does everything is better with that.
Well, yeah. I mean, people do say that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm good. I'm glad that you're feeling good, and I'm glad you're going to get wasted today with me.
I even think back to the challenges where I won finals, and the difference between me winning on a final and me not winning on a final and like gassing out, or when I would throw up all the time, is because I'm dehydrated. And when I started actually working on that and like taking care of my body, shocker,
right?
It performed in a much better way.
Wow!
So bring on the wine.
Yeah, today's the day. I saw a cool video on Facebook that Sarah Grayson posted, our friend from Road Rules, and it was about why do Disney princesses look like babies?
Oh, Lord, why?
I mean, it was sort of like clickbaity because very little of the video was actually about Disney princesses, but it was talking about how, Cinderella and Snow White, they were drawn pretty much like a real human.
Yeah.
More proportional.
Yeah.
And then over time, the heads got bigger.
The eyes got bigger.
And the thing that annoyed me about the video was that he didn't really say why. He described the science of why that look is appealing.
Oh, yeah, which we know.
But he didn't say why
we
it
need
used
to take
to
care
be.
Of something.
Yeah. Like, he said the body ratio of most of the Disney females is of an 8-year-old. And Moana, even though she's supposed to be, I forget, I think it said 16, she has the proportions of a 4-year-old. Like, in terms of the big head.
Okay. But my argument there is that are they taking into consideration body types of certain cultures? Because I think that maybe just the look of, like a stockier body may look like a 4-year-old or like
he was just talking about head size to body size.
Okay, head size to body size,
and eye
not
size to whatever.
Okay, so yeah, that would make sense. Oh,
and then he was pointing out how it's not just Disney princesses, that even like Garfield, Pinocchio, the Chipmunks, the drawings of those characters have gone more towards that big head, big eye look.
Wonder how that happened.
Right, and I guess it's just something that catches on, And then he said that villains are still drawn like adults because they aren't meant to be likable.
Interesting. But have we made villains look less like people and more like monsters, or more like almost dehumanized villains in the same way that we...
That's a good question. He was just saying that they don't look like babies. They look like people.
They definitely don't.
And like scary people, basically.
But also...
Yeah.
Do male characters get made to look like babies?
Let's think. What about, well, Moana had a dad. He looked like
regular.
Not because he
but
looked
his
like the
body
Rock.
Was huge.
Oh no, I'm thinking of that guy.
You're thinking of
her friend.
What the heck is his name? How do we not know his name?
Right, there's a whole song about it.
Oh my god, it's like on the tip of my tongue. Moana is going to find Maui. I mean, for goodness sakes, I just got back from Maui. I mean, before.
It's hard to remember on the spot. I try to explain this to people that it's when you're on the mic.
Didn't
it's
that
different.
feel good when we figured it out? Brain orgasm.
Did. Yeah. Okay, Maui.
She tried to make me look it up. People, I didn't.
Sarah, I just for time's sake,
right, of course,
and Christ's sake. But wait,
Christ's sake, that's funny.
The dad, though, was he? He has a big head and big eyes too, right?
I don't think so.
And what about in Frozen? There's like those guys.
Yeah, and I think they all
Sven.
are like Regs. Finn.
Mm-hmm. Right. So maybe it's just the ladies.
Which then, of course, makes me like
annoyed. Mm-hmm. Or being infantilized. They have a term for it called neoteny.
Oh.
Which is essentially like when you breed for cuteness.
Uh-huh.
And it's weird, though, because scientists are trying to figure out why. Let's say you're trying to domesticate an animal, and you breed for tameness. Like there was a scientist who breeded foxes designed to be tamer. But along with that came other traits.
Cuteness.
Floppy ears.
Oh, my gosh.
Big eyes.
So, like, cuteness and
tameness
go together. Okay, well, that kind of makes sense.
Wonder why, though, because you wouldn't think
that it would actually physically change a characteristic. Okay, no, we can think about this.
Okay.
Because it would be assumed that that there are certain traits that certain things send the message that I'm not dangerous. So if you have those things already built in, like ears up on an animal is like, I'm on high alert. Ears down send the message that, no, everything's fine here. So if that animal already has characteristics that show that their ears are down, that would probably in some ways be, like if in the wild, would prevent them from that would be like a disadvantage.
Yeah.
But for tameness, it's an advantage. Mm-hmm. So, because your ears are down, you know? And so, like, the ears down is a symbol that I'm not aggressive and therefore tame.
I get what you're saying.
You know? So it's like those traits go with...
Yeah.
It's really just signs of non-aggression.
Yeah.
You know?
It just surprised me, though, because even though I understand what you're saying... The idea that disposition would be accompanied by a physical trait.
Yeah, but that really is because it's not the same in humans.
Right. That is true.
Is there?
I mean, they argued that humans do breed for cuteness. I mean, because that's what attractiveness can be, especially for women.
But it's like symmetry, not cuteness.
True.
And it's bred for, it's not cuteness. Tell that to,
Well, tameness, because it was saying
that
two
girls, one in a bikini, one wearing pigtails. The dude's picking the girl in the bikini.
Is this the Ginger Marianne
Yes! Oh my God. Except if you're into that thing.
Although, like, it did say that humans are different because social behavior is advantageous in the way we live versus some animals. And so tameness was also a desirable breeding thing, because you don't want someone that everyone hates,
right?
Because then your kids would be hateable.
Kindness, yeah.
But
interesting.
I don't know.
But I don't think there's a physical trait that goes with that.
Right?
Not at all.
Big eyes? No.
However,
Although,
there were studies that were done, and they're not they don't hold up anymore as well. And it's kind of been like, about physical traits and people who were dangerous or criminals. Remember we talked about that way back then, how thin lips and eyes that were closer together or more spread. There's like things about faith where they were more aggressive or more...
Yeah, we should revisit that.
Yeah.
Or maybe the scientists could get to work on that and see if these overlap. Because it seems like it. And, you know, even on the last show when I asked you, like, what did your attacker look like?
Yeah.
But there's something about that where humans signal behaviors and we evolutionarily learned what to be scared of versus...
And you know what? He did kind of send my red flags up.
Okay.
With something. But it was more like,
but you don't want to be judgy.
It was the same look of like, kind of like skittish. Like.
Well, now we know why.
Like I don't know, like
shifty.
Shifty. That's the word I'm looking for. Shifty.
Is prostitution legal there in Italy?
I don't know. That's a good. Because we can look that up.
All right, that's where she's.
Google that. So I'm not going to come up with that one on my own.
If he was a little nervous and shifty as a result of it being illegal, because if it's illegal, he might be nervous and act weird and.
Okay, let's see.
This guy's getting a lot of airtime. I bet he doesn't listen, though.
Prostitution is legal. It is not mentioned in the penal code as such.
Countrywide?
Brothels and pimping are illegal, but single sex workers working for themselves legal.
Wow!
Yeah.
I am going to have to think about whether I like that or not. Because I kind of like brothels.
This article, I'll send you this article. The rise of DIY prostitution in Italy.
Good night.
And there a bunch of people protesting, saying sex work is work, which I do support.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely have marched with the sex workers in San Francisco because I also support them.
Yeah, you almost became one.
I did. I'm like so supportive. I'm like, you know.
A little too supportive.
Yeah, a little too.
Another thing that's super supportive is whenever you can, this is a terrible transition, when you can ship stuff from your house without any hassle.
I just signed up for my own account.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, because we have a Brain Candy account for Stamps.com, and now you have a Sarah Rice one.
Right, because I can't like, you know, put my own personal stuff on the Brain Candy. So this was really cool. I had a friend who lives in another state who wanted to send me something, and so I got the postage from Stamps.com, and I emailed her the postage.
Yeah.
She printed it right out, cost her nothing, put it in the mailbox. Cool. Nobody had to do any work.
That's awesome.
I know.
What a great story.
It was so successful to do it. I was like, why didn't I sign up for this sooner for myself? Because I was like, I could use this for a bunch of stuff.
It's so convenient and easy and reliable and efficient, as Sarah said. Typically, you wouldn't be sending it to someone else, but sometimes.
You never know.
And basically, Stamps.com brings all the amazing services of the U.S. Postal Service to your fingertips. You print out the postage of any size and any weight right there, put it on your package, and then they come pick it up. You know, your mail carrier just takes it from your house. And we use Stamps.com because it's so simple, and it's, to me, a no-brainer. And right now, you too can enjoy the Stamps.com service with a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus postage and a digital scale. Go to Stamps.com and click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in Brain Candy. That's Stamps.com and enter Brain Candy. Did you do that?
Yes, of course. Come on now.
I mean...
In fact, when the microphone came up, I was like, oh my God, I know exactly what to do. And I was like, now I get it. And they were like, thanks for listening to the podcast. Or like, your podcast sent you. Like, they have like a cute little message.
Okay, good.
Yeah, check it out, peeps.
Okay, that was a bad transition. What were you going to say?
I have something to say that is completely off topic, but it was something that I was reminded of when I was listening to the episode that you did with your sister, and you were talking about emojis.
Yes.
I have a complaint to make.
Okay.
The direction in which the runner emoji is running. What way do you think the runner should be running if you're typing in a conversation?
Oh.
Because it almost seems like...
They're going backwards.
Yes!
Yeah.
Running over the words I just said.
Right.
They should be running...
in the way that we read.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So, and also because I was trying to say like run to the boat or run to the whatever.
Yeah.
And when I put those emojis out, it looked like the person was running away from the boat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, turn around. And I was like, they need to flip that. And it's really bugging me.
Yeah. Well, do you like how on like Insta Story you can flip it?
What?
If you pick an emoji and then you tap on it on your screen, it flips the direction.
Okay.
Which is great.
I need to know that. But then I was also thinking maybe it's because emojis were designed in Japan where they read in the other direction.
Maybe. Do they? I didn't even know that. That's how little I know about Asian
Don't they?
dialects. I don't know. I know
Or
that
no,
in
is
Hebrew.
it up to what? Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Hebrew's
Is it
that
top
way.
to bottom in Japan? I
Oh,
should know this.
you know what?
No, it is backwards because all
because-
the magazines go the other way.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'm like, did I just make that up?
And Lincoln
Is this-
just got a Pokemon book and it starts at the
Okay,
back.
good.
Yeah.
So it's not, yes. Everybody's on the same page.
Maybe. Because the swimmer is the same way. I always thought that about the swimmer. I'm like, why is he swimming that way?
I'm really annoyed with the runner. It just doesn't send the same. And I feel like it's very useful, but
The
he's like,
dancing lady, though, she's going the right way.
she is.
Who else? Who else has motion?
Yeah. So like and the trains are going the wrong way. Everything's going the wrong way.
You are so right.
And it's making me mad.
Yeah.
Like unnecessarily mad. And I'm like, why do I have why is there this
Rage.
new thing I'm pissed about and I have A, zero control of it, and B, it affects my life in no way.
Like in 100 episodes, there'll be a study out called like emoji rage.
Yeah,
And Sarah is experiencing it
For
right
sure.
now. But we
It's
don't.
the same frustration as when you go to look for an emoji and you discover they don't have it, like a tape dispenser. There's
Now you're mad about that.
Now I'm mad because there's no tape. You give
You
me
used to be mad about brooms. There weren't any brooms.
and they gave us one.
Did they though?
Didn't they give a mop or something?
I mean, I've
somebody
heard
said there's like an
that.
update where like now there's like cleaning products.
Let me look. I'm
Yeah.
not buying it.
I'm not buying it either, actually, but I probably don't have the newest update. That's for sure.
I do, and I have not seen a broom.
You haven't
Maybe it's
seen
in
a
the
broom.
works.
Yeah, in the works.
Where's
No
the
brooms.
suggestion box for these emoji people? Because we know that there is a board of people
Yeah,
who are lodged,
so
you know,
annoying.
fielding
The
these
skiers
complaints.
going the wrong way. The swimmer swimming in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
It's weird that some of them are going the right way. The
Like
bikers
what?
biking in the wrong direction. However, the water polo players throwing the ball in the right direction. The rowboat, depending on how you look at a rowboat, I think it is going the wrong direction. Because don't you row and you're facing backwards when you row? You know,
I
it's
don't
like,
row, Sarah.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
The horse is running in the wrong direction. All the cars are going the wrong way. Except the rocket. The rocket's going in the right direction, and all the airplanes are taking off in the right way. There's a lot of inconsistency.
Yeah, you'd think with all the people that are involved in the decision making, there'd be more.
I wrote very few notes about the important things I want to talk about.
That was it.
That was number one on the list.
Here's what Sarah does. This is classic. So she springs this Italian trip on me like last minute, and then she's like, "Okay, well, anyway, I'll see you in 3 weeks." And then she's like, but it's fine because I'll have tons to talk about. I'm going to be reading the whole time.
It's
and,
true.
Yeah, but you don't write stuff down.
Also true.
So then we
Because
come
I
in
read so much.
Did you?
Well,
like
I read
books or what?
I read that Any Man book.
Yeah.
That I read very
Amber
quickly.
Tamblyn.
Yeah, Amber Tamblyn book.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah. That book's kind of crazy. We
That brought
talked
up a
about
lot
that in
of
our book
emotions.
club. Yeah.
In a weird way.
I felt like I needed to be warned. I didn't know going into it what it was about.
It's interesting that you said that because I feel like it wasn't that bad.
Oh, God.
So that's weird.
Maybe it was just the opening part. That I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Cool. It's a book about rape, but the rapist is a woman. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I wasn't
interesting,
ready.
though. But I also read The Hate You Give, which is our book club book for this month. Excellent. Can't
Yeah.
wait for that book club. So
Yeah, I'm excited too. And we have so many books to give away. You guys should
fun.
join. Because, like, publishers have sent us some to give away. But it's also just like, if I read it and then I'm ready, I don't keep a lot of books.
Yeah, it's good.
I think that's because I move so much.
Well, and also, you're like, once you've read it,
Usually,
what are you going to do with it? You
yeah.
have already read it.
But some people like to surround themselves
I do.
with books.
Well, and also a lot of the books I read are like psychology books and stuff like that. But I feel like I could reference,
Yeah,
or for a certain
sources.
client, I can photocopy a page or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know,
All right. Well, let me move on then, because I did have stuff to talk about, Sarah.
more than just emojis.
Okay. Oh, this was fun.
And in my defense, one of the things I was going to talk about was that study of all the dating stuff, and you already talked about it in another episode without me.
Yeah, because I had to record an episode without you, and you're mad. Okay. I stole your material.
Right, that's exactly it.
Okay, this was interesting. The headline of the Atlantic article was "Why People Are More Beautiful in Groups."
Oh, I've heard about this.
What?
This also is. They say there's like a. They've talked about this in some funny movie where guys look at a group.
I think you're referring to an episode of How I Met Your Mother.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I am.
It's called the cheerleader effect.
Yes, that is exactly it.
Yeah.
Tell
Why
me
do you think,
everything.
though? Like, what is your theory about it?
Oh, my God. Huh.
I mean, they just have a theory.
Okay.
It's not like we know
Here's
for sure.
my theory.
Okay.
That we naturally first find the best pieces of somebody. Like I would look at you and I'd be like, oh gosh, she's got great arms and great boobs and nice lips. And then I'd look at the next person. I wouldn't notice your flaws first. I wouldn't be like, oh, that person. I would notice the things that stand out. Then I'd go to the next person. I'm like, oh, that person has a great butt. And then they look at me. Oh, she's got a great ass and she's got like cool tattoos and like look at that cool hair. And then in their mind, I think they put
it's like one
them
person.
Together. Maybe. That's my theory.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But then it would stand to reason, though, that if that person were still by themselves, that you would still focus on those good things. But there wouldn't
be another one to then amplify it.
Okay.
To add to that.
Yeah, this was saying that, like, the theory is that when you have a group, that any sort of weird parts of somebody get averaged out. So the extreme, like, maybe if one of the women on the cheerleading squad has a really big nose and it's not attractive.
Yeah.
But, like, most of them don't.
Yeah.
And like, it averages out to be, like, one cute nose.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. But if they all had big schnozzes, they'd be like that whole group.
No, they would still consider them more attractive than if they rated them individually.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
right.
My God, that's so weird.
Yeah.
So we should always travel in packs, is what you're saying.
That's what it said.
Oh, my God. This is probably why sorority girls are more successful on the college campus than the weird, nerdy girl. Dude.
And frat boys.
Oh, my God. Because I have been really forgiving of some gentlemen's looks when they're in a group, and some of them especially,
it's true.
And their intelligence level too. Does it say anything about that?
It doesn't, but I bet one thing that I would add to the theory is that you assume that if someone's surrounded by people that they have redeeming qualities and stuff.
Yes,
which makes them more
also
attractive.
True.
But it was
they're higher on the social hierarchy.
Yeah,
which is what we're really looking for in a mate anyway, even if we don't know we are.
But the attractive quotient is higher, even if you're just with one other person. Like me and you, we look cuter than if we were by ourselves.
And twice more like Reese Witherspoon. Two times more like Reese Witherspoon.
Right. They even pointed out, like, the Spice Girls.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when they're together, it's like, whoa,
oh my
hot,
God.
hot.
You're totally right.
But then by themselves, it's like, yeah, it's fine.
Except that Victoria Beckham.
Woo!
Damn.
I mean...
Actually, all of them are pretty good. But you know what? Now I get what you're saying, though.
I mean, they're not as good looking as my new sheets.
Oh.
Yes. But they are good looking. Yes. Brooklyn and Sheets, baby. They're the winner of the best online bedding category. You've heard us talking about them. They get softer with every day.
Are you sleeping on these yet, guys?
Oh, I think you're asking me. I'm like, yes, I am, Sarah.
Yeah, well, I know you are.
I got them for Lincoln. They have cool designs, too, so you can mix and match, like one polka dot for your pillowcases and then stripes for your bed sheets or whatever. And it's basically like having those fancy hotel sheets, but at your house. And they are sold online, and so they don't have that markup of the luxury bedding. And we think you should get them. Brooklyn and Sheets are the best, most comfortable sheets I've ever slept on. Brooklinen.com is giving an exclusive offer just for our listeners. Get $20 off plus free shipping when you use our code BRAIN at brooklinen.com. Brooklinen is so sure you'll love the new sheets that they'll offer a risk-free 60-night satisfaction guarantee and a lifetime warranty on all of their sheets. The only way to get $20 off and free shipping is to use promo code BRAIN at brooklinen.com. That's brooklinen, BROOKLINEN.com. Promo code BRAIN, Brooklinen. Those best sheets ever. But yeah, that group thing is weird to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because when you think of examples, you're like, yep. And like people on the challenge, because we watch that.
God, totally.
In the group shot, you're like, whoa. But then individually, you're like, okay, just regular.
Yeah. Does a big group of, even a big group of average people always look more attractive?
And they say that it's true both of people and objects.
What?
Like a group of objects. I was thinking of like your vases, your pretty mid-century vases.
Yeah.
They're all beautiful, but like they're probably more beautiful as a group.
That's totally true.
Huh.
Yeah. And then I think now that you say that, I would imagine like that about a parking lot of cars.
Ah.
Like if you look into the park, because then you could also look at dings and scratches, and it's almost like how much attention are you giving that individual one versus looking at the big picture. This is kind of a metaphor.
Right.
We shouldn't look at the individual and their
Don't judge a book
flaws.
by its cover.
We need to just look at step back and see the big picture. How does this person exist within the context that you see?
That's real nice, Sarah.
I'm just, trying to be full circle therapist over here.
She's waxing philosophical on today's show.
Yes, there you go.
Do you want to hear the oral history of Four Loco?
Oh my God, yes. Yes, please.
I was talking on the Q&A last week about how I was joking about how you're like, you'll come in to record 2-3 episodes and you're like, yeah, I don't have much. But the good part is if I say, can you believe...
I already have 4 stories about Four Loco. A story for each Loco.
I'll be... like if I say, can you believe rocking chairs? You'll be like, oh my God, I was just talking.
I can think of 2 stories off the top of my head about rocking chairs too.
So it's like fine.
Have you ever priced those things out? They're outrageous.
All right, so you tell me your Four Loco story, and then I'll talk to you about the history.
Well, one weird experience that I had just before I came to your house, not today, but at another time before I came to a podcast.
Okay.
You told me to stop off at 7-Eleven and get you
probably
Diet
Coke.
So it's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I go up to the register to pay for my Coke.
Yes.
And standing in front of me is this Indian woman dressed in traditional Indian garments who probably is in, I would say she's like maybe like late 40s, early 50s. 3 Four Locos in her hand.
No.
And I was like, I want to know the story as to why this woman, she didn't look like she didn't look loco. She didn't look like the target market for Four Locos.
Indeed,
so I'm
she's
like,
not, Sarah.
Is somebody asking her to go buy these Four Locos? Is she secretly an alcoholic and this is her beverage of choice? It's too early in the morning to be cracking one of those bad boys open. And if you've even tried to have one, anybody knows that 3 of them, I think that's above like lethal levels of Loco.
Have you ever had one?
Yes, because we see how many stories I have. I used to go on a yearly camping trip with, and we would still do it if lives weren't so busy. But I go on a yearly camping trip with the camp counselors that I went, we did the summer camp with, and we would just go camping all together at the old campsite. Like we would do this, out like off-roading almost camping where you're just like, there's no actual campsite. We're just like camping in the woods somewhere. Yeah. And one of the things that we would do every year is like to kick it off is you'd have to drink a whole Four Loco because that
each person.
Yeah. And you'd have like all night, like finish the Four Loco. I still have never done it because it's like
how many ounces are we talking?
I mean, it's like one of those huge Arizona iced teas, like big. But the problem isn't that. It's like so sugary and has so much caffeine. And so like you're like drunk but can't go to bed. And to me, that's horrible. So like, but the experience of any individual who has finished a Four Loco is just fun to watch because they're like, all drunk and can't sit down.
In this oral history, it described it as It gets you drunk, but gives you energy to act on your poor judgment.
Yes! There you go. So it's like a show if they're going to finish it. And then it was banned. They were like made illegal. Okay, so now I'm giving you the history. So now you've heard my experience with Four Loco.
Sarah's just telling us everything she ever heard about Four Loco.
Please, Susie, tell us about Four Loco.
Well, so they, of course, had the people that created it in the article talking about like what their vision was and how they came to create this product, and then they chose the camouflage can, which, funnily enough, they said they chose because it stands out, which no one pointed out how stupid that is. But
that tickled me.
And they were saying, like, they did all these taste tests, and like it would call each flavor a fruit, but really it was like red, or this is yellow.
Yeah.
It wasn't really anything that tastes like a fruit. And
like Arctic Freeze. What the fuck flavor is Arctic Freeze?
Right. Is that what they have?
It's probably Gatorade flavor, but close enough.
And somebody described it as the cheapest, not gross way to get really drunk. So, like, it's palatable enough.
Yeah.
It's not tasty. No one's saying it's tasty, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And then there's so much caffeine in it and so much alcohol that you get wasted. And then I was annoyed because the people in the article that worked for Four Loco or created it were angry that it ended up getting banned. So they would mention, like, so a couple people died. And it was always young kids, you know.
Yeah, because they're binge drinking this stuff.
And because it's marketed to them.
Yes.
As you pointed out, the Indian woman in her traditional Arapaho.
Right.
She wasn't that kind of Indian, but whatever. She's
actual Indian, not Native American.
Yeah.
Yes.
She is not the target demo.
No.
And that's what...
At all, which is why I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah. And the people that they interviewed from, like, the New York Liquor Board were like, clearly this was designed for people that were underage or very young drinkers. And they can't handle it. They can't make those choices.
I can't even drink a regular energy drink.
What happens to you?
I mean, I've never done crack.
It's like Tigger.
But I would imagine that it's like that. I cannot... I mean, I'm like all over the place.
Yeah.
And I feel out of control.
Apparently there was a guy that wanted to demonstrate the problems with Four Loco, and he was supposed to drink 4 of them. Oh my God. And he could only do 2 before he was
can't even
like
physically
puking
do it.
And like
that's why it was a challenge to drink 1, because it's like, let's see who could do it.
Wow.
You can't do it.
So now you can buy Four Locos, and then whatever that woman was buying is still called Four Loco, but it doesn't have that same alcohol content and same caffeine level.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, what are you going to do? Ban Red Bull and vodka too? But Red Bull and vodka isn't specifically marketed towards young people.
And it doesn't look like...
You don't have to drink that much.
Yeah.
You could just have one glass of it.
Oh my God. And the sugar content alone, I think that... And the blue dye number, every single number.
Yeah, like when my husband was a kid, they told him he had a thing where if he had that blue dye, it changed him. Like, I don't know if they would call it an allergy exactly, but it was like a reaction.
Yeah.
And so he had to remove it from his diet because it would make him like crazy, which I'm sure is true for a lot of people.
I wonder if my brother had a lot of behavioral problems. They said it was probably, I wonder if it was a dye.
They can do like those things now where it's like you eliminate one thing at a time and see what the control, you have a control group kind of thing.
Wow.
And then you can like reintroduce things. And then if you start acting crazy again, you know what caused it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Four Loco is loco. I have never had one and I have no desire. But they said it was like an experience.
Yes, so is like a lobotomy or like...
Right.
But...
I don't know. But anyway, we have a guest.
Ooh, who are we talking to?
Her name is Leah Franqui. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And she wrote a wonderful book called America for Beginners. It's funny because you began this episode by saying like you're over traveling.
Over it.
But this book is about a woman from India, funnily enough, who decides to come to America for one of these. Apparently, there's these tours that they offer to people from India and places like that. And it's like a road trip, and you stop at different places. But she's here looking for her son, and it's really beautifully written. before I introduce her, though, if you do have a son or a daughter or a dog or anything like that, you should try care.com. Or if you have a house and you want someone to clean it,
Yes.
care.com is an easy and reliable way to find care for everyone in your family when and where you need it. Whether it's caregivers, nannies, sitters, housekeepers, senior care, dog walkers, whatever you're in need of, you can go on there and find people who would like the job, and you can choose from them. And it's basically the world's largest digital marketplace for finding and managing family care. I've used it to find babysitters. Sarah's worked for them before. It just makes your life simpler, and it has everything all in one place. All right, so here's the scoop. To save 30% off care.com premium membership, visit care.com/braincandy when you subscribe. That's to save 30% off a care.com premium membership, visit care.com/braincandy when you subscribe. As you guys know, I'm not super into fiction, but I was so impressed with this book because the author is not of Indian descent, but she...
Really?
Yeah, her husband is.
Oh, that's so cool that she captured...
She really did, and described a lot about the culture and especially the food, which I was really
love
into.
Indian food.
Right?
It's so good.
It made me so hungry. I told her that. I'm like, oh.
I'm salivating right now.
Right?
I'm thinking about it.
Well, we do need to eat. I mean, if we're honest here. But America for Beginners, it's really a fun and thoughtful book, and it was fun to interview her. So have a listen, and make sure you get Leah Franqui's book, America for Beginners. First of all, thanks for coming on the show, but more importantly, congratulations on your book, man.
Oh, thanks so much.
How you feeling?
I feel great. I mean, I'm really happy this story is out in the world. I'm happy people are reading it. It feels great.
Do you feel weird now that it's being consumed by others?
A little. I mean, I think it's always a more vulnerable position. You make this thing, you want to share it with people. That's the point of it. But then, you also open it up to be kind of cracked open and disliked and liked in a different way than you intended. So it's a little vulnerable, but it's a good feeling.
Whenever you've been hearing the feedback, because I assume, after the book comes out and then people read it and have feedback, like what has surprised you that they focus on that you didn't expect?
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, most stuff has been incredibly gratifying, just really seeing all these details that I wove in or seeing connections that I didn't even really think that much about. I just wrote the story, and I thought I knew everything about the story, and people come in with insights that's just like, oh my God, that's so true. Wow. Cool.
Yeah, you're like, I could have sworn I knew this story.
Exactly. I think some people, it's also, it's a testament to taste, right? Some people wish that the trip started faster. Now the story is about a road trip.
Yeah.
Or at least there's a road trip in the trip, and some people wish that, that it started faster, and some people really like when it starts, and I really like when it starts, so I'm sad for the people who wanted something different. I'm very happy for the people who are happy.
Oh, weird. I can't believe people even say that. Like, I wish it started sooner. That's interesting to me. I guess people get really invested in stories, and then they feel like it's their own a bit.
Yeah, which is a great thing. I mean, I definitely have had people who talk about what they would have liked in the story. That they wished, one person said they wished that they'd gotten lost.
Oh.
Which is a cool idea. But mostly people have just had really great insights about sort of like the way that these themes echo across different characters, and that's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. That's amazing.
Well, the book is really beautiful, and I'm so excited for our listeners to read it. And I'm just wondering, as a writer, if this type of story comes to you all at once, or it was something that over time manifested in your mind.
I definitely think that different elements of the story layer in over time. I had a central idea of a tourist tour of the United States geared towards Indians, because that's an experience that my husband and his family has had in the United States. And I was really fascinated by it. And the tour organizers were Indians. And I was really fascinated by the idea of, like, taking a tour organized by the people of your country rather than the country you're visiting. Like, I would never want to do that. That sounds insane. So that idea was always very like the center of this. And I really had this widow in mind, this woman looking for her son. And I think that the pretty quick on the heels of that came sort of, okay, if it's the Bengali widow or it's an Indian widow, then what's the juxtaposition of that in her guide? And Bangladesh came really quickly. And then the rest kind of layered in, like different elements in different times. I think the core story was there from the first draft onwards. I started imagining all these other people, and they all seem to sort of live in this story with these people. And I think the story of Prabal's son and Jake, that was there from the beginning. That really came, that all came up together. But a lot of the other plot points and secondary characters, they layered on with time.
One thing that
there was a seed, but not a totality.
Right. And I can't even conceive of it because I could never write anything like this. So I'm always fascinated by that process. But one of the things I was really grateful for as a reader was that you acknowledge the ways in which humans are so similar and have, like pain and joy and mourning and all of these things that are universal, but you also acknowledge these huge differences that we experience within cultures and amongst cultures. And I've wondered, because are you an expat now?
Yes, technically, I guess I am. I live in Mumbai.
And I just wonder what it's like for you.
Well, what it's like for me is it's challenging, I would say. Although that's a much bigger, I have a much bigger response to that, which I'll say in a second. I would say that, when I first wrote this book, when I wrote America for Beginners, especially, I wrote the last couple of drafts after having moved to Mumbai, but I really conceived of the story and started it while in the United States. But I was already with my husband, who is from Calcutta. And I was already sort of acquainted with and starting to connect with my in-laws, which also represent, my husband has a huge Punjabi family, so like a huge Indian family, who started to reach out to me, who I started meeting. I started sort of engaging in a sort of culture clash with India personally in my relationship, in my in-law relationships, and I really wanted to connect with my new family, and I already knew I was going to be moving to India. So I was sort of activated in my investigation of the Indian experience in the United States, and sort of now have been activated in my experience of the American experience in India, because that's like the reality I'm living in now.
Was it intimidating for you as an American to write so intimately about another culture? Because I would be frightened.
It wasn't. It's always intimidating to. I think that it was less intimidating as a writer than it was as a person.
Yeah.
Because it was my literal life experience was marrying a person of another culture, joining a family of another culture, and I think that they came side by side, right? Like a lot of the. I wouldn't say the fear dissipated, but I needed to learn about India because I was going to be living in India. And because even if we hadn't been going to India, I was going to be with an Indian.
Yeah.
And we're so affected by where we're from culturally. And my parents are also a culturally mixed marriage. My father's family is from, and most of them are still in Puerto Rico. And my mom's family are Russian Jewish.
Yeah, man.
And I grew up with.
I read that and I was like, I'm super jealous of this chick. Like, that's the coolest combo I ever heard in my life.
Well, it's a very talkative combo. So it's very emotive, talkative combo, very argumentative combo. So I'm happy about all that. But it's a good storytelling combo because it's definitely two cultures that like to talk, that like to express, like to tell stories. And I think that trying to navigate my own identity from an early age of like, okay, these are two pieces of me, and I have to kind of learn about them both as an insider because I'm of them, but I'm also not 100% of them. And so I have to look at them, investigate them as an outsider too. So I think I had to sort of grown up with that. And then getting together with somebody of a third culture was like, okay, well, this is just what you do. Marrying somebody or dating somebody or being with somebody. You're always looking at another culture, especially that culture is like important to your identity. Which mine is, my dual culture is mine and my husband's culture is his. So yeah, I was intimidated in the sense of like, there is so much to learn. This is an entire country so foreign to me. I did not know a lot about India before I got together with my now husband. But I wasn't, I think I wasn't, it didn't seem like something that was the first time I'd ever done something like this.
Yeah.
It was just maybe the first time I'd done it on this scale.
Well, you did a freaking great job. And I was, honestly, it was so amazing to me how well you created these relationships, but also the feelings that they were experiencing and describe them in a way that the reader could be like, oh, I know that feeling.
Thank you.
And the characters
must have been fish out of water.
Well, yes, exactly.
Have that feeling, and that's pretty universal in a way.
And it seemed like intentional that the people were complicated in the way that they really are in real life, and that there aren't heroes and villains in the way that it would be convenient in a movie. And I was wondering, there's a character, one of the main characters is a widow, as you said, and her husband was he the most like a villain in the story, or was that just me projecting?
I guess he was the villain. Yeah, if there's a villain of the piece. And I definitely think it's a credit to all the people who read this book and helped me work on it and make it better, including my many readers, my agent, my editor, that all of them helped me make him less of a villain. Because I think he was like super one-dimensional in my original. It's just like sheer evil, but which isn't really true of humanity. But yeah, I think if there's a villain, it's I think that Ram Duvall's deceased husband is a villain because he wants the world to be what he wants it to be. Yeah. And he cuts any part of it off that doesn't fit into that.
Well,
and I think that's true villainy.
And if you wrote his story, I'm sure we would better understand how that came to be. And you did a great job of putting it into the context of culture. But I just felt like, this is a guy that I feel like everybody knows a guy or has a dad possibly like this person where you aren't going to please him and he wants things the way he wants it.
Yeah, I'm just sort of unwilling to forgive others for being anything but what he wants. And I think I always imagine people like that are incredibly unhappy. Although maybe they're not. Maybe they're drunk on their own sense of self-righteousness. But I think that for me, that character certainly, although he's dead before the novel begins, I think there's what I'm trying for is a deep unhappiness. Most people, I think, their villainy comes from unhappiness.
Yeah. One of the characters in the book is gay and ends up leaving India as a result. And I was just thinking about the way that the immigration debate currently is happening and how prejudice is informing a lot of fears that people have about people that don't look like them maybe coming into the country. And I thought it was interesting that he's escaping India because of a prejudice about his sexuality, but then in many ways we're doing the same thing to try to keep people out. How does it feel to have that storyline come to be during this time of consternation about immigration?
Well, I think for me, I guess I feel like, first of all, right now, I genuinely believe that the point of the United States, the promise of the United States is open borders, openness to others. That's the country I love. That's what I think we should be. And that's the best of us, I believe, personally. I think that when it comes to sort of understanding immigration, a lot of what we're looking at right now in terms of immigration, and I think really what we've been looking at since September 11th, in terms of immigration from countries whose religions we fear, which is sort of separate from our sort of immigration from countries who people, I don't know,
Yeah.
I guess they're the same.
Well, there's a lot of overlap for sure.
There's a lot of overlap, but there's also like a lot of difference in terms of, New World immigration from South, Central, and North America.
Yeah.
And then like immigration from abroad and how we look at those and where and to draw lines in terms of, where our government is currently trying to draw lines in terms of who is acceptable and who is unacceptable. I think that, it makes me incredibly sad. I think that I can honestly say as a product of previous waves of immigration, that I think that the promise of the United States as an open space has always been both true and false. And there have been long-standing quotas and denials of asylum to immigrants all over the world for the entirety of the United States history. I think we're so much more aware of it right now, and maybe that's a good thing because our awareness can help us be better. There certainly were a series of pretty intense quotas before and after the Second World War, and I think a lot of people don't know about those. Maybe I don't know.
Yes, for sure.
I don't know about sort of the systematic. I think our country had a systematic sense of who is a good immigrant and a bad immigrant. And that's always been the case.
I was so happy at the point of this story when one of the characters is confronted with her own feelings about sexuality, and by meeting somebody who happened to be the thing that she feared, it maybe perhaps shifted her worldview ever so slightly even. And maybe we can hope for that.
No, I think it's absolutely. Look, the thing is that I grew up in a city. I've lived in coastal cities of the United States all of my life, and I think that when we live in diverse places like urban centers, we are not so consumed with our fear of the other because the other is among us. We are the other. Often. Right. And we recognize the other is us, or the other wants exactly what we want, and most people want the best lives possible for themselves and their families. But when you live without the other, if you live in a state of homogeny, I think that all other is frightening because it just represents the unknown. And the best way to eradicate fear is to make it known, to make the other known. So to be closer to the thing which you fear. Hate is just fear magnified. And so
go ahead.
Meeting somebody from another, I think it becomes about the person. And if you can meet somebody who shifts in you a little bit, it just shows you have the capacity for change. And that means you can keep changing, which I find hopeful.
There is hope.
I think so.
One of our friends of the show is named Phil Rosenthal, and he goes around and eats food all over the world and hopes that when people sit down and laugh and eat together, then they can, change each other's points of view, which is another way that your book did such a great job of accomplishing that. It made me so hungry. I can't even, I couldn't quit thinking about the food. And I was wondering, what are the odds you feel that Indian cuisine in the U.S. will pick up the pace here and get some things going that aren't so uniform?
It all comes down to, it comes down to an educated palate, like an educated consumer palate, and people from that region. Yeah. Right? And I think that what we're seeing right now with Chinese food in the United States is a really nice indicator of what Indian food would be. Yeah. Because when I was growing up, Chinese food meant one thing. Yeah. It was very Americanized Chinese. And if you were lucky and your city had a decent Chinese population, it might be fairly Cantonese, right? Yeah, right. Cantonese immigrants at some point in time. You could have super Americanized, or you could have slightly more Cantonese, and that was good. And then at some point, growing up, Szechuan arrived, and we were like, what is this story? And now Xi'an, and now sort of more and more subtlety of region, and 5 types of it, right? And not your mom's Szechuan. And I'm like, my mom doesn't make Szechuan. That's amazing. And just so much. And look, this may be more urban. This is defined by urban spaces where there's a huge restaurant consumer culture, and often an immigrant culture. So I know that there's obviously a lot more going on in terms of Chinese cuisine in, you know,
Sure.
New York City
Yeah.
than there might be in like Boise. But like let's not roll Boise out. Maybe there's something great happening there. I don't know. And so I think that India could, you know, like Indian food is so incredibly complex, and it changes like every 75 miles.
Wow.
And there's so much, and I've just learned so much about food, or about Indian food since I moved to India. There's so much nuance, there's so much variety that I think, you know, if there's a growing demand, we can get there, because I think that London's getting there. And like the London food scene is sort of expanding in its definition of Indian food.
All right. Well,
but
maybe
it'll probably take a long time for some people to like get beyond chicken tikka masala.
You got to start somewhere, but maybe they can, you know, move over here. Yeah. Okay. We ask everybody one thing at the end, which is, what do you keep in the trunk of your car if you have a car? Do you have a car?
I don't have a car.
Okay. Do you have like a bag that you carry around?
Always have a car.
What do you keep in there?
I always keep a book.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I have The Wild Girl by Kate Forsyth.
Ooh.
I really loved her book, Bitter Greens, and so I'm reading this now.
Okay.
I always have my wallet. That's boring. I have a reusable coffee cup because I'm trying to avoid
Oh, that's great.
plastic.
Yes.
I usually have like 12 different lipsticks, none of which I ever wear. I always have a tote bag so I can like go grocery shopping at any given time.
I'm loving this.
And right now I have a bunch of postcards from the Norman Rockwell Museum. So I just visited my friend up in southern Massachusetts, and we went to the Norman Rockwell Museum.
How was it?
It was awesome.
Oh my gosh, how interesting.
Very American. It was great.
That is a very good bag. I'm very impressed.
Oh, thank you so much.
Which though reminded me, what made you choose to have your characters visit the Glass Museum?
So there are a lot of real tours that exist that I researched that are geared towards Indian tourists, and many of them have the Corning Glass Museum on them. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
It seems like a really crazy thing. Also, like, it's always the beginning of the trip because most trips start in New York City and end in San Francisco. So, like, you're buying a bunch of very vulnerable baggage to carry with you across America. This seems dumb. But I think it's because it's, like, halfway between Niagara and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So a lot of these stops. So I don't know why, but I put it on there because it's on there.
Wow.
I visited it. It was awesome.
Was it?
Yeah. I mean, if you're into glass, it was really cool.
Right. I mean, it sounded cool, and that's why I thought this must be a shout out. Like, you're super into this glass museum, so you put it in.
No, I'm really not. No, I have no interest.
Oh
in
my
glass.
God.
I mean, beyond like the normal person's interest in glass. No, this is a real thing, and I just think it's so weird.
I want to go there now.
It had to get on the trip. Like that had to be there.
I really love that. I'm going to go there now. Like, I have to.
You should. It's great.
Is it truly as massive as you describe?
It's really big for a museum devoted to glass.
Oh my God. All right. Well, good to know. You're officially off the hook. I love your book so much. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I can't believe the talent that is in one person, and I hope you keep writing because you're amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's incredibly kind.
Thanks for coming on the show, and I'll let you know when we post it. You're amazing.
Please do. I'm excited to reshare it.
Thanks, Leah.
Thank you.
Congrats again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.